Mark, let's talk about the markets in 3 minutes, and let's start with technology. We've heard about OpenAI, we've heard about Nvidia. Certainly, Nvidia has some macro read across. We've seen that in Nasdaq futures on many occasions since this AI frenzy began. How do you put these tech themes together and weave them into the macro story?
Look, ultimately, Nvidia earnings probably should be the biggest from the macro point of view. And those earnings were just incredibly impressive. Of course, expectations have just got so elevated around the AI space. And that's where I tell in the OpenAI story that the markets still weren't impressed. But I think the background story here is that overall, this is a sector which is delivering on the hype, which is partially why this OpenAI drama has captivated us so much in recent days. So yeah, we may have disappointed extremely lofty expectations, but the background story, this is a good story. It is delivering. AI is real. We're already delivering substantial revenue changes.
Mark, good morning. And so beyond tech and beyond the tech story, and there are multiple different threads to this, is what is happening in Europe. So just a brief look at the macro of Europe and maybe some of the budget constraints that possibly, arguably, the markets are looking past. Are they right to do that?
Look, I haven't yet got back on top of this German kind of debt ruling properly myself since I've been away on holiday. It seems to be a lot of drama there at the moment, and there's a lot of print being spread in it. But markets aren't reacting too much. And I think that one of the kind of the stories here is that, first of all, this is a kind of a long-term and subtle story. It's going to hurt certain sectors hard, certain industries hard. But the other thing is that we know repeatedly in the past that European budget rules, debt rules, are repeatedly flexible when they really need to come down to it. Now, we've not normally seen that at the German national level, but I think that's kind of the overall view from investors is when this really push comes to shove, other triggers will be pulled to therefore provide the resources that Germany needs, and therefore this may not provide the fiscal constraint that the ruling might have initially implied.
OK, so not necessarily the end of the story there. Where have we got to on the crypto story then, Mark? I wonder if the Binance news, the huge fine and the stepping down of the very prominent leader of this business, is this a positive for crypto assets because there's sort of some kind of clean-up and answers being provided here, or is this a negative because the Wild West days are over?
Look, it's a very good question, the way you phrased it. Look, superficially, this should absolutely be a positive. This was one of the big overhangs removed, and therefore we've kind of cleaned out a lot of the frauds over the last few years. We've cleaned up some of the money laundering issues. This is a cleaner business which should allow institutional investment. Now, one of the problems, though, comes to the fact that this is an asset class which only benefits from greater fool theory, from speculation, mainly at the margin. I shouldn't say in every way, but that is the main driver of it. So when it stops being the Wild West, where's the pull? Where's the attraction of making extraordinary gains? So while it superficially should be a positive, I wonder whether ultimately it's a bit of a dull anticlimax.